The night was quiet, almost too quiet. I remember staring at the neon sign above my little pizzeria, the warm glow of the letters Carver's Pies cutting through the thick fog rolling in from the street. For the first time in decades, had a life that was ordinary, safe, predictable, and I liked it that way. No monsters, no blood, no shadows moving where they shouldn't. Just the smell of dough, the sizzle of cheese, and the faint hum of old rock playing from a dusty speaker. But some things don't stay buried forever. It started on a Tuesday, the kind of Tuesday where everything feels like it's been rinsed in gray. The doorbell chimed, and I thought it was just another late-night customer craving my pepperoni. But the man who walked in wasn't there for pizza. He had a determined look, a little too young to be here at midnight, carrying that unmistakable energy of someone chasing something they didn't fully understand yet. He called himself McCarthy. "I hear you're the best," he said. No introduction, no small talk, just a statement as if saying it would summon me back into a life I had long tried to forget. I wanted to tell him no. I wanted to turn him away. I wanted to close the door on the past entirely. But there was a flicker of something in his eyes. Fear, yes, but also hunger. And in that flicker, I saw my younger self. So I listened. He spoke of a witch, powerful and ancient, someone who had been hiding in the shadows, building her strength. He spoke of people disappearing, of shadows that moved against the light, and of a fear that had grown too heavy for the local hunters to bear alone. "I can't do this alone," he admitted. I didn't answer. I just wiped my hands on my apron, turned off the oven, and went to the back. Because I knew, if I said yes, there would be no turning back. For weeks, I had been enjoying life in peace, but the shadows of my past don't forgive. I was a monster hunter once, and those skills never fully leave you. We set out at dawn. McCarthy, eager and nervous, kept asking questions. Too many questions. I ignored most of them. There was no use explaining experience. You either learn it or you don't survive. Our target was an old farmhouse on the edge of the woods, the kind of place that looked harmless under the sunlight but held nightmares under the moon. Windows dark, paint peeling, the air heavy with an unnatural chill. "Ever been inside one of these?" McCarthy asked, voice tight. "Once," I said, and I remembered the stench, the screams, the feeling of a life hanging by a thread. I didn't tell him that part. He didn't need to know. The first thing you notice in a witch's lair is the silence. Not ordinary silence, but the kind that presses against your chest, makes your ears ring, makes your skin crawl. Even the wind seems to avoid it. We stepped inside. The door creaked, and the air smelled like wet earth and something metallic. Blood. Yes, but older. Rotten. She was waiting. Of course she was waiting. That's what witches do. They hide in plain sight until they strike, until they're ready. The first sight of her made McCarthy stumble back. I didn't flinch. I never did. Not when it mattered. She looked human enough. Too human. Hair like midnight, eyes like hollow lanterns, and a smile that didn't touch the corners of her face. "You shouldn't have come," she hissed, voice like dry leaves brushing against stone. "Neither of us should be here," I said, "but here we are." The fight wasn't immediate. Witches like her don't always rush. They wait. They watch. They test you. McCarthy panicked at the first sign of movement, and I had to step in, pulling him back before he became part of the floorboards. I moved differently than he did. Methodical, careful, precise. Years of experience make you think ahead, make you anticipate attacks before they happen. He was modern, fast, flashy, reckless. He had gadgets, strange charms, and lights that cut through the darkness. I had my tools, old and simple, silver, iron, salt, and the knowledge of what breaks her kind. It was like watching two worlds collide. The witch circled us, twisting shadows around her like a cloak. Each step I took was measured, each breath calculated. McCarthy tried to improvise, but improvisation only works when you survive the basics first. Then she struck. The room exploded into chaos. Shadows lunged, furniture levitated, and the temperature dropped so fast it burned my lungs. I was thrown against a wall, a shard of wood piercing my shoulder. McCarthy yelled, but I barely heard him. Focus. That's what keeps you alive. Focus and movement. I hit back with everything I had. Silver burned her skin. Iron drove her back. Salt marked her limits. McCarthy finally got the hang of it, but he moved like a boy learning to run in a world full of knives. Together, we fought. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time in a witch's lair is meaningless. You measure it by breaths, by injuries, by victories. I could feel the old thrill, the sharp edge of danger I had thought I'd retired from. And yet, I also felt something else. Mentorship, responsibility. The way a father might feel watching a son stumble, hoping he learns before it's too late. We cornered her. She screamed, a sound that tore at the walls and the floor, trying to shatter our resolve. McCarthy faltered, and I had to push him forward, steadying him, reminding him what it meant to stand your ground. The final blow was mine. Old, practiced, deadly. She fell, writhing, hissing, shadows fading from her skin. Silence returned, thick and heavy. But this time, I noticed it. I breathed it in, aware of every cut, every bruise, every heartbeat. McCarthy looked at me, wide-eyed, exhausted. I couldn't have done it without you. You almost did, I said, but almost doesn't count. The ride back was quiet. Too quiet for McCarthy, I think, but I welcomed it. The city lights stretched before us like tiny stars, indifferent to the battles fought in the darkness. Back at the pizzeria, I cleaned my tools, bandaged my shoulder, and tried to remember what it felt like to live a normal life. McCarthy lingered at the door, hesitant. I want to learn, he said finally. From you, if you'll let me. I laughed, a dry, tired laugh, but not without warmth. Maybe it's time someone did. I poured him a slice of pizza, hot and cheesy, and for a moment life felt ordinary again. Until the shadows outside the window reminded me. Monsters never really go away. They just wait for you to notice them again, and that's the life I chose. That's the life I live. I may run a pizzeria, I may smile at customers, but in the quiet hours, when the moon is low and the fog creeps in, I am still Samuel Carver, monster hunter, survivor, mentor. So if you think your world is safe tonight, think again. Because there are shadows out there, things that slip between your streetlights, waiting for the moment you turn your back. And when they come, you'll wish you had someone like me in your corner. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment below and tell me what part made your skin crawl the most. And remember, monsters are real, maybe not out there, but they're closer than you think.